Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're doing well. It's good to be with you, my friends. So I just want to look at two verses from the Qur'an, and those two verses I want to relate to a practice that we are used to. And I'm sure wherever you are, you've encountered what I'm going to explain to you now. So you go to the mosque on a Friday or any other occasion. There's a sermon, there's a lecture by the local priest, Muslim Shaik or Maulana or whatever. And in that sermon, the normal pattern is that you are told an amazing few stories about the Prophet. You are narrated a few hadiths. Qur'an may be on the side, but mainly I think the storytelling part is a very important part, and that would qualify as an amazing sermon. But then it would flow into an emotional appeal. So you would then get an emotional appeal that would consist of a bit of shaming. In other words, telling you or telling the people that we are nowhere near the way that the Sahaba and the way that the Prophet was, and we are very, very bad and very far from what they are, right? So that would be one theme. So that's the shaming. But then we would also have the inadequacy. Where we would tell people that no matter what you do, you will never be able to be as good as those people, right? And then part of it is a bit of blaming, a bit of shaming, and that is kind of the pattern of these sermons. Now, I'm saying it's the sermons that we find in a particular category of Islam, and that is more or less your fiery Sunni, Salafi kind of sermon. I don't notice it that much. I have attended sermons by Shia priests, and they have a more analytical methodology, right? They have a more analytical way of speaking. They have nowhere near the amount of shouting. They also have the storytelling, so that is similar. But the shouting and the emotional appeals are slightly more, slightly less. So I want to point you to a verse in the Qur'an that in fact relates us to this or refers us to this type of behavior. And it's a verse that is in chapter 19, verse 83. And I just want you to see this verse here, because this verse was revealed in relation to the pagans, to those who rejected the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam, and they were charged up by their entrenched and ingrained belief systems, and they absolutely saw no way of compromising their existing, old legacy beliefs that they grew up with. And it says here, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا كَمَثَلِ الَّذِينَ يُنْعِقُوا بِمَا لَا يَسْمَعُ إِلَّا دُعَاءً وَنِدَاءً صُمٌّ بُكْمٌ عُمْيٌ فَهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. The meaning that I gain out of this verse is the following, referring to those who suppress truth. Those who suppress truth are similar to a bleating sheep. كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي يَنْعِقُ. Like they are similar to a creature or to something that croaks or bleats at you. So it's like, you must imagine now you speak to somebody and all it does is saying, it's this, and then the verse continues, this, because they listen only to calling and shouting. بِمَا لَا يَسْمَعُ إِلَّا دُعَاءً وَنِدَاءً. They are only responsive to calling and shouting. They only respond to calling and shouting. Normal speech, logical speech, don't get through to them. Why? The verse continues, devoid of listening devoid of articulation, and devoid of seeing. They cannot apply their intellect. Summun, bukmun, umyun fahum la yaqilun. They are unable to make sense of anything because they are bereft, they are robbed of the ability to listen, the ability to make sense, and the ability to see things, and the ability to express themselves, to articulate properly. And that, my friends, is why a person or a people who have been dumbed down to the level of being sheep, similar to sheep, they respond only to these Maulanas and these Sheikhs and these preachers who shout at them and who scream at them, and they are unable to see any other way out from that. And that is something, my friends, that we need to take as a lesson from this verse. This verse is coming to remind us that that is not the way Islam works. Because that type of Islam leads to another behavior problem, and that is anger. We have anger issues because of that. You see, because we are emotionally driven to our intellectual positions or to our beliefs or to our aqidah or to our religious, devotional, the understanding that we have, because that is only entered ourselves by means of coercion, emotional coercion, we kind of lack the ability to defend ourselves when we are challenged. And so when somebody challenges those assumed beliefs, we start acting angrily. We can't defend logically. So if you cannot defend logically, then you undergo what I refer to, or what has been referred to by scholars as fractured reflexivity. You don't know any other way but to respond with emotion yourself. So when somebody comes and challenges your beliefs or your understanding, which you've only adopted because of coercion, you also respond with anger and with rage. And look at this verse now. Alam tara anna arsalna ash-shayatina ala al-kafirin ta'uzzuhum azzan or uzzan. Can you not see how we send demons upon the truth obscurers, whipping up hatred and anger in them? You see, if you have no logical position, no logical understanding, then you need the devil. You need to become angry. You need to become even violent to defend your beliefs. And my friends, it's time for us to take stock. If you are receiving your Islam via a dose of shouting and stories and all sorts of emotional inducements and coercions, then you yourself will not be able to defend yourself, and also so will your children not be able to defend themselves. And that is why we need to heed the so many verses of the Qur'an that says, أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, do you not reflect, do you not use your mind? أَفَلَا تَدَبَّرُونَ, do you not ponder? And Muslims have lost the ability to reflect, to ponder, to make sense, to be logical, to be rational about their beliefs. Because if they apply logic, rational and so on, then they might find themselves at loggerheads with the priests. But that is exactly what is needed, what the Qur'an is calling for.